We have people really worried about what our president's going to do, what the government's going to do, talking about Elon Musk. Worried about a lot of different things, worried about a lot of external stuff, external events that's going on in our world, in our country, whatever. But just keep in mind, the more that we worry about so much other things that does not really have that much to do with us, the more we are eliminating the how can I say it? Eliminating the I want to make sure that I specifically say what it is I want to say the correct way. The more we focus on external events and other people, the less we give ourselves the opportunity to focus on developing ourselves. Nothing is more important than the development of your own self. You look at the world and you look at others' policies or people or things that's going on in this world, and it disturbs you, and it can make you feel a certain type of way. It can make your emotions rise or whatever. And you have to acknowledge, why is that the case? Why do you feel that way about it? It is, you do want to not focus on other things outside of your control, and that has little to do with you, because at the end of the day, it doesn't have anything to do with you. It has very little to do with you. But at the same time, on the contrary, it does have something to do with you, because it's your anti-vision, and that tells you right there who you are, actually, a piece of who you are, and what you should do to counter that anti-vision. Let me explain deeper. When you hate something, that thing that you hate is a piece of you. It's a part of you. It's not all of you, but it does have something to do with you. And you can use that to your advantage to develop. You can use that to feel. You can use that to advance, to reach to the next plateau in your life. As a matter of fact, not you can, you should. I believe that you will not actually be moving the most productive and effective way without acknowledging your anti-vision. Like, evil only makes sense with good. Good only makes sense with evil. If evil didn't exist, good would not really actually make that much sense. So if your vision was the only thing that you would acknowledge, you would not be as effective of clarifying your vision to yourself, let alone to other people, without actually being able to acknowledge your anti-vision. So if you hate our government, or if you hate these leaders, you hate the billionaires, you hate the haves, the people who has it all, whatever, it doesn't matter. What matters most is what you're going to do about what is your anti-you, what you hate. If you hate things so much, if you hate other stuff, if it really makes you feel a certain type of way or whatever, or type of world you don't want it to become, then you need to take full responsibility of that. You need to take full ownership of that. You need to claim your power. And the only way to really do that is by improvement. And you are not going to be able to improve if you lack the acknowledgement of what you feel may not have anything to do with you because you hate it so much. So things that you counter, that can be used as building blocks to reach to the next plateau in life. How can you find the feel of the development of yourself if you ignore things that you hate. So I am so big on developing myself, and what nothing feels me more than me reminding myself, or just not even reminding myself of the thoughts, of the feelings, of things that I don't want to happen in my life, things that I really don't want to so much lose. And there's only a few things that, as a minimalist, there's only so many things in my life that I really am afraid of really losing. You know, I mean, I have materialistic things. I'm not so much afraid of losing that as much as I'm afraid of losing my freedom, losing my ability to pursue my interests, you know, without any interference. You know, I don't like losing money. I don't like losing time. But most of all, I don't want to lose my freedom. And things can make me so angry when I see the way that people move. I see some of the stuff that people say. I see, you know, certain things that's going on in this world. You know, I know for the vast majority, I don't share the same idea, same vision, same purpose as other people, preferences as other people. We are different. But what I'm basically telling you is, at the end of the day, it is your full responsibility. If you hate something so much, if you don't want this to happen so much, if you're afraid of certain circumstances, ideas, things happening so much, it is your responsibility to develop, to obsessively, to identify, and to create, and to develop yourself as much as possible, obsessively, to counter whatever problems and issues and challenges that's going on in your life and that you are experiencing. Because if you don't, there's nothing more evil than a human being that lacks development. That is the pure problem. Think about, for example, it doesn't matter what these people do. It doesn't at the end of the day, because they're going to do what they're going to do. We have very little control of what other people do in our life. I say this all the time. Look, most of our problems in our life is psychological. You know, so if we cannot really conquer our mind and conquer our emotions and conquer the way we think and perceive things and look at everything as an opportunity and learn how to identify value in things in life and everything in life. If we cannot figure out how to create value out of problems, out of issues, we are the ones with the problem. It's not that. It's not them. It's not the government or whatever. It's you. Because your lack of development could have possibly, even if you are right in what you're saying, if you are right, the fact is your lack of development possibly could have, your development possibly could have eliminated that circumstance from happening. So you have to blame yourself for every single problem that occurs in your life. Every single issue, challenge that occurs in your life, whether you think is your fault or not. At the end of the day, if you know this, if you are not improving, if you are not advancing, if you are not developing, whatever occurs is your fault. Any problem in this world is your fault. So, people that's watching this video, you may disagree. You're like, how can a child being murdered in Europe be my fault? Well, I will tell you this. How I would say it could be my fault personally is that I am the type of individual who is obsessed with development, growing, claiming my power, empowering myself, autonomy. I'm obsessed with stuff like that. And I know that, and I'm also obsessed with always asking myself what my future highest version of myself will be. You know, how I have this idea of Dante, Taviantz Sales, that's my full name, of just being a very influential, powerful, wealthy, rich, philanthropic, creator, builder, multi-trillionaire individual, consistently just excelling, advancing in life. There are so many things that I want to do, and I know I'm more than likely not going to be able to do them in this lifetime. I know that. But perhaps maybe I can leave a blueprint. You know, I can leave a foundation. I can leave businesses. I can leave a conglomerate. I can leave ideas. I can leave books. I can leave stories. I can leave films. I can leave all these things that I created for people when after I die, for people to use and to keep building on top of, and to keep doing that. This vision, this all from just a spark of an idea of what Dante has experienced, of what Dante saw on the news. And I go, oh, I see this person got murdered. Gosh, I hate that. I hate that. What can I do to possibly avoid that? What can I do to make situations like that, problems, better, so less people can be murdered? You have to ask yourself, what is it that you can do? Don't think about solutions. This is why I say solutions doesn't exist. It's only trade-offs. But what could you do? What could I do? I'm just focusing myself right now. What could I do right now where I'm at, who I am, where I am, with my experiences, with my knowledge, with my feelings, with every fiber of my being, with my resources, with the income, with my job, with my car, with my house, with my current mind, with my spirit, with my soul, with my hands, everything that I was blessed with, everything that's within my possession, spirit, soul, body, mind. What can I do to counter my anti-vision? So I can, simple word is, I can just use all of everything I have to just rise just a little bit. I don't have to be 100% better right now. Just 1%. Just keep pushing, striving, elevating, accelerating, excelling, all gas, no brakes. Consistently keep going. Keep going. Force, pressure, little by little, every single day. Every time I move, every habit, every thought, every decision, I'm more than likely not going to probably eliminate all murder or homicides in the entire world or all crime. I'm probably not going to be able to do that. But what I could do is I can make myself as elevated and to reach my highest potential and as developed as possible to try to lower the crime or lower homicide rates as much as I can. If that's something that I really hate, or that's something that that's anti-me, or that's something that I truly care about, I won't do any better. I won't make the situation any better by sitting down being a keyboard warrior, some philosopher king on social media, keep typing up and being like, oh my God, they're the problem, they're the reason. This white man hates black people, or government, they're killing us all, yada yada yada. Billionaires is taken from all of us. By me doing that, really what? Because there's a lot of people that does it, but it still happens. Why is that? Because nobody wants to take full responsibility for their own life. Nobody wants to actually possess the freedom that they actually have been giving in certain parts of this world, and take full responsibility of what they actually have and make just a slight 1% better than who they are and where they are to counter that. It's much more easier to not take responsibility, to not take ownership, to not claim your power, to not possess what you have been given. It's a lot more easier to not take on that and to just say what you hate, say what you don't agree with, to just use your words and stop there. It's a lot easier to do that. That's why so many of these things happens in our world. if you want to make the world a better place, you need to change yourself. Start with yourself. And you will know that really the funny thing about development and about me is that the more higher developed that I become, the higher my intelligence increase, my wisdom, the more I seek after wisdom, and the more I minimalize a lot of the possessions that I have, I noticed that I literally can care less about what people do. Because all my focus and my energy and my attention and my concentration is on every single step that I do. Because I'm not perfect, but I strive for perfection. I want to be excellent in everything I do. I want to be as developed as I possibly can before I die. I don't have time to really worry about what else is going on around me. I am a firm believer that most people who are in bondage, who have faced a lot of discrimination and killing and racism and destruction, mass destruction, and everything from the government, from slave masters, etc., etc., etc. History is documented information of history people just being brutalized. And one thing that I came to I won't say a conclusion, but one thing that I am starting to acknowledge, and this is all, some of this is opinionated, and I'm not saying this is facts. I am not. This is a YouTube video that I'm purely just speaking off my head. It's something that has been on my heart. So sometimes I'll do these YouTube videos. I'll be like, okay, I don't forget the script, forget the writing, whatever, man. I'm off to spit right from the dome, however I feel, because I want, at the end of the day, to build businesses, also the foundation to be based on facts, truth, authenticity, me being genuine, how I really feel, what my emotions are ringing right now, what my mind and my thoughts is saying to me. It's doing it for a reason, so I'm like, you know what, let me share it. But I think that a lot of the problems that has been going on throughout the course of history is psychological. It's in our minds. And how many people throughout the course of history has been able to master their minds? Do you think that if more people throughout the course of history, since the beginning of time all the way up to now, if more people were able to conquer their minds, be able to use their minds, to earn with their minds, and we're not even talking about awakening their spirit and their soul, do you think that a lot of things more than likely could have been eliminated? To me, it makes no sense to just say that, oh, this group of people just overpowered this other group of people and just killed them all and oppressed them. But why? How? How is it them and not them doing that to them? How is it them being able to do this to these people and these people are not able to fight back off these people? How is that not the case? Why is it? It has to be more than just, I overpowered you, now I got you. How am I even able to do that? I think for the most part, whether you are developed or not, but if you are developed, extremely developed, highly developed, most of these people they decide to do one of the two things: become evil or become good. Do it for good, do it for evil. So if you know that most people, these people who are highly developed, and they have a choice to be evil or good, to what they want to do with that development that they have, the resources that they gain, everything, etc., etc., etc. If you believe this and you know this, what's stopping you from reaching for chasing your highest version of yourself, for reaching and striving for your full potential? To not only match, compete, but to overcome that, if you believe that's the case. You see what I'm saying? So think about, like Batman is my favorite superhero of all time. And there's a reason why he's my favorite superhero of all time. And because I feel like the type of because That's somebody that I visualize. I can visualize myself as being, because that's kind of how I want to be. I will never become a Batman ever in my life. I think that'll be nearly impossible. He's a fictitious character, but the idea of Batman is what stirs me, and that's why I read Friedrich Nietzsche, and I read his books. I study him, and he has this thing, not thing, but it's this term called the Übermensch and Overman. And Overman is just like these people, this person, this guy, this man that reaches his highest potential, fully developed and improved, advanced, highly intelligent human being, and that's why I'm really obsessed with the idea of Batman, and that. But the fact of the matter is, Batman wasn't like that. He didn't start off like that. He transformed himself to become that. He faced the most evil that a kid can experience at a young age, witnessing both of his parents being murdered right before his very eyes. He was just some privileged white kid, rich white kid, wealthy rich white kid, But when he experienced that evil of his parents being killed right before his very eyes, right then he made a decision. He was just like, could I use this experience for me to reach my highest version of myself, or could I be laying in my own pity? Can I blame? Can I criticize? And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and just play victim and not develop. And there's two choices that he had. There's three choices that he had to make with that in different times. No, two choices. And then so he goes, obviously he became Batman. He's like, I'm not going to play the victim. I'm not going to lay in my own pity. I'm going to become Batman. Become the Overman, oder Übermensch. Extreme. I am going to use every single fiber in my being, every single resources that I have to fully develop myself, all the energy that I have within myself, the problem that I face, the issues that I face, the challenges that I face, the evil that I saw, my anti-vision, I experienced it. I don't ever want that to happen to no other kid ever again. That was Batman's anti-vision. That's what he said to himself. He said that I don't want a kid to ever experience what I experienced. So I am going to obsessively, identify, develop, and I am going to identify the problem. So I am obsessively going to develop myself into the Batman. He used his anti-vision to become the Overman. And so that's what I'm telling you all, is that use your anti-vision to become the Overman. And then when Batman became the Overman, he had another decision to make, which I feel like he made this same decision probably almost every now and then. It was just like, he could have used that when he became highly developed and successful and everything. He studied all the sciences, all the math, all the engineering, physics, everything. He just became a builder. He was a builder. Builder is my favorite word. He became a builder, and he build to counter his anti-vision, because he was afraid of this anti-vision, of it happening again. You see what I'm saying? And so, why can't you build to counter your anti-vision? Build to counter your anti-vision. So, after he did that, I think he also had a decision to make, to ask himself and say, sometimes, and this is my opinion, I'm sure those thoughts was like, can I become evil? Should I become evil? Why not be evil? Who can stop me if I do become evil? So think about that. So regardless if we think that Elon Musk could become evil or not, if he has evil intentions, if Batman became evil, what can counter that? So what I'm telling you is that it is every single person's job who's living right now to develop themselves, to avoid things that you are afraid of happening. You can't just sit there underdeveloped and see somebody who's way more developed than you are. They did the work and they're there. And regardless if they did the work or not, some people will be like, oh, it was just handed to them, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're there, you're not. What are you doing to advance yourself? I can care less if you're living in a shoebox. I can care less if you don't have it. I can care less. You can start with changing your mindset and go from there. Especially if you're not handicapped, especially if you're fully able-bodied, you don't have no health issues or anything, you absolutely have no freaking excuse. There are people who are crawling and they're not making an excuse to become the highest version of themselves. So, if these people scare you so much, what's stopping you from obsessively pushing every fiber in your being to develop you? I want you to not only think about that, to stop blaming, start taking full responsibility, and obsessively use every single fiber in your being to become the best version of yourself. Strive for perfection. Land on excellence. Thank you so much. I'll be back soon. You have a great day.